Among the soldiers of history, the samurai is one of the most prestigious and dangerous.
So let's pit two of the best of them in a fight to the death.
Samurai Jack, the warrior prince lost in time.
And Afro Samurai, who's one cold-blooded mother effer. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
Oh,
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Oh, this already
Long ago, in a distant land, Aku, the shape-shifting master of darkness, unleashed an unspeakable evil.
But a foolish samurai warrior wielding a magic sword stepped forth to oppose me. I mean him.
And that nameless samurai became known as... Jack.
Jack was out!
Jack.
Yo, Jack was...
Jack.
Doesn't really strike fear into your enemies.
Young Jack was the son of a Japanese emperor who had imprisoned Aku years before. However, upon Aku's return, the emperor and his army were quickly defeated. The last of all hope remained in the hands of his son.
Oh, look how small he is. To prep for beating the snot out of Aku, little Jack traveled the world, training with the best of the best.
Most notably, he learned horseback riding from a sheikh, staff fighting in Africa, wrestling from gladiators, axe throwing from a Russian boyar, mounted combat from the Mongols, martial arts from Shaolin monks, and
archery from freaking Robin Hood! You know, everyone's favorite talking fucks. Ooh, da lolly.
Wrong Robin Hood.
That's your opinion.
Jack's progress was exceptional. At just 8 years old, he defended a whole village from a band of marauders.
All before he could even legally drink the good stuff. 17 years later, he was ready for the final boss. He just needed one more thing. His pajamas.
No, his katana.
Yeah.
Katana, pajama, tomato, Alfredo, it's all the same. But before Jack could put his training to good use, Aku pulled a bitch move and zapped him hundreds of years into the future.
What a waste. Just like when you spend 4 sleepless years struggling through college and then find out too late that nobody cares about your English major.
I thought you graduated from the School of Evil Science or something.
I watched that show for a long time.
Still have to pick a major.
Should have chose a more practical one, Wiz, like mine. Anyway, even though he was trapped in the future, Jack stuck to his mission to get back to the past and take down Aku. And he had the right weapon for the job.
See, Aku cannot be harmed by conventional means. Thus, a special blade was forged by gods from Norse, Egyptian, and Hindu pantheons. This mystic sword is nearly unbreakable and absolutely incorruptible.
And boy, is Jack's katana an extremely effective weapon.
It can absorb and redirect energy, including fire, vaporize beings of evil, and slice through nearly any substance, even adamantium.
The Wolverine super metal? Why is that there?
Probably just coincidental naming, but it is shown to be stronger than steel.
Of course it is. So the sword's pretty awesome, but so is Jack. He's strong enough to push over this giant pillar, tough enough to survive a fall from orbit, and fast enough to defeat 6 bounty hunters in the time it took for 1 drop of water to hit the ground. By timing the drop, all this had to have taken place in about 1/3 of a second. He's like a ninja samurai.
Oh my god,
Samurai.
Actually, he is trained in ninjutsu, which probably helped when he was forced to dodge beams of sunlight. For this one in particular, it's clear Jack began dodging after the beam was fired. By examining both Jack and the beam's movement frame by frame, we've concluded his highest reaction speeds must be nearly 70% the speed of light.
Damn, that's fast. What can he do? Next thing you'll tell me he has the power to fly or something.
Well, Jack can't fly, but he did learn how to
Jump good.
Yeah, he jumps so far in the damn air.
By strapping a giant boulder on his back, which compared to
wide.
his height we can determine to weigh 39 tons,
Jesus.
Jack learned how to leap high enough to clear these trees.
Crouching tiger, hidden samurai. These trees are pretty big, and this jungle has a bunch of these ugly baboons running around. And if I were a betting man, which I am, I'd say that this is the African rainforest, where the average tree is about 130 feet tall. Tips on Jack from my basketball team. Guy's got hops.
No
We haven't
shit.
even mentioned the time he survived several exploding missiles with his friend, the Scotsman.
Oh, I remember that
Why
guy.
does he look so familiar? Well, I like him.
With so
like
much
him.
talent, it was only a matter of time until Jack found his way home and defeated Aku once and for all. But it took a lot longer than it probably should have. 50 years, in fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, good thing time travel makes you stop aging for some reason. But Jack's a good-hearted soul, like a Boy Scout who hasn't discovered Twitter yet.
He can be pretty gullible when it comes to more devious opponents. Also, he continues to prolong his lonely journey over and over, just because he frequently puts the needs of others before his own. Still, the forces of evil should watch out for Samurai Jack.
Who else wants some?
Jack, calm down.
The stories that surround the two
Afro
sacred
Samurai.
headbands are as many as the men who died in their pursuit.
What's so special about some strips of head cloth?
Legend says they were created by the gods, or they can grant the wearer supernatural powers. But in truth, the headbands
Is that
only
actually a
bring
thing
pain and loss.
in that
Such
anime?
was the case with Afro Samurai.
Jesus.
Wait, did his parents really call him Afro? Talk about setting big expectations.
Well, no, it's a nickname, but even if they did,
Oh.
have you seen his dad? I think they knew what to expect.
Damn, just look at it. Oh, and hey look, he's got the #1 headband.
Here's how this works. The person who wears the #1 headband is said to rule the world, and the only person who can challenge the #1 is whoever possesses the #2. In contrast, anybody can challenge the owner of the #2 for the right to wear that headband, and thus gain the right to challenge the #1.
So, like, you just work your way up so that only one guy in the world can challenge you? So where do I get one of these headbands? Then no one will mess with me.
Actually, the opposite would probably happen, which young Afro witnessed firsthand when some freak named Justice showed up with the #2 and killed his father right in front of him.
Why does this always happen? You know, I always
Well,
thought
you got
parenting was
any
the hardest
motivation
thing about
to
being a
fight.
dad, but at this point, I think it's just actually staying alive if your kid's ever gonna do anything great. Or just sticking around for them.
Despite knowing that he was effectively creating a future challenger, Justice left Afro alone to mourn his loss.
So, of course, Afro swore revenge and started learning swordsmanship under a
Well, what
swordmaster
kind
named
of style?
Swordmaster. Who the hell is naming these people?
Through Swordmaster's training of sword mastery, Afro learned the traditional samurai fighting styles of Kenjutsu and Kendo.
Oh.
Genjutsu is all about how to kill an opponent as fast as possible, while Kendo is more about discipline and being zen and stuff. Naturally, Afro preferred the more kick-ass one.
Right, Swordmaster's goal was to refine Afro's body and mind, instilling upon him a sense of honor, or Bushido. But that didn't quite mesh with Afro's thirst for vengeance.
So
Wait, isn't
when
that
he
exact
found
same
out that
fight style that
Swordmaster
Jack
had the
used?
#2 headband all along, he knew what he had to do.
Ready to kill the man.
And now he could take down the guy who killed his dad.
Alongside his new friend, / burden, Ninja.
Oh, come the f*** on! Where'd this
Who
guy come
named
from?
these characters?
Now don't we look like shit? How you been, man?
Well, it's not entirely clear. He's there, but at the same time, not there.
He's a
Ninja
ninja.
is believed to be the guardian of the #2 headband, but
Oh.
all he ever really does is talk, and talk some more.
He got arrows and grenades and shit. You ain't got no chance, dude.
Though it's also possible Ninja is simply a figment of Afro's mind, brought about by psychological stress.
You know, I have an imaginary friend.
Aren't you a little old for that?
Not for Al Gundy. He's a gun who also talks to me. He tells me to do stuff.
Okay. Anyway, to be honest, calling Afro a samurai is a bit misleading. He's actually more akin to a ronin, a samurai with no master.
That's-
And so, with
Yeah,
his
I heard those
swordsmanship
before.
perfected, Afro wandered the world searching for justice, carrying an arsenal fit for revenge.
Including his father's sword. This super long blade
Oh,
has
there's a
lasted
game?
through decades of battle without much issue. Perfect for kicking some ass.
He also has a steel comb, which can be a surprisingly effective offensive and defensive tool.
Really?
And since he doesn't care about that honor BS, he's not afraid to play dirty by attacking with his sandals.
But while on the road to justice, Afro's #2 headband attracted all manner of dangerous enemies. Luckily, he's more than capable of dealing with each and every one of them.
He's strong enough to cut other swords in half, throw his sheath through another guy's throat, and even
Oh.
tear off metal arms.
Pretty impressive, as many modern metals have tensile
How
strength
strong
as
is
high
that
as
guy?
80,000 pounds per square inch.
Afro
Good
is
lord.
fast enough to cut bullets out of thin air, and even a laser beam.
I should note that it's not a plasma-based beam. It bounces off reflective surfaces, doesn't explode upon contact, and it's literally labeled a laser. This means Afro blocked a beam that moved as fast as light, more than 670 million miles per hour.
Get this, that laser beam came from a robot version of Afro. Talk about metal! This Afro droid could easily smash up a car, and our boy Afro just tore it apart! He's survived getting hit by rockets, including this RPG that fragmented a giant cliff face.
RPG in a backpack?
I think I smell math coming.
This tree nearby is most likely a Japanese mountain ash, which can sometimes grow as high as 30 feet. With that in mind, we compared its height to the fragmentation created by the explosion, and compared the resulting surface area to the shear force for granite. With this, we deduced the RPG's highest possible explosive yield must be around 72 tons of TNT.
Jesus
Damn,
Christ.
what kind of mega rocket launcher are these guys packing? And where do I get it?
Many stood in his way, and Afro didn't get through them all unscathed.
But by the end, he cut down justice, took his revenge in hand, and proved to the world
about to say,
that
he
Afro
might
Samurai
be
is
still
number
human.
one.
Or somewhat.
Why you gotta kill all my men? Why you gotta kill me?
Nothing personal. It's just revenge.
Hey, what's up, bro?
All right, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
But first, looking at these swords makes me want to sharpen my knives for my blue ape.
Ooh, this is. Oh, it's Jack. So they're doing like a cartoon version. Interesting. I heard there's a Samurai Jack game. I'm interested to try.
Your sword smells of blood.
So does yours.
Oop. Oh, the bird's about to come down. I don't know if he's gonna win this. They both seem like very skilled. Hey, that's a little dirt. Whoa.
You jump good.
Oh, thank you?
Hey! Hey! Well, at least you gave him a compliment. Yo! Turn off. Turn Yo! The sword! No! Okay, go, Jack. Jack, get your sword! Or here. I actually like Jack. What just happened? Then they got each other? Jack Lee won? Watch out! Watch out! I actually like that theme.
So, like, is he gonna get his arm back, or?
Afro was an exceptional warrior, and his skills would absolutely
But how did
dominate
Jack
most
win?
sword fights. However, Jack has had a lot of experience with opponents who fight dirty, and Afro could not stand
That
up
is
to
true.
his physical superiority.
Yeah, Afro never showed strength like how Jack lifted that 39-ton boulder.
Literally.
Jack could react as fast as 70% the speed of light. Afro did block that light speed laser beam, but based on the distance between him and the Afro droid, he only needed to react around 21% the speed of light to do this, still putting him at impressive relativistic speeds, but not even half as quick
So
as Jack.
Jack is a lot
Also,
more
while
faster
Afro
than Afro.
survived that mega-sized RPG explosion, don't forget how Jack survived a fall from orbit.
While it does
Wait,
seem
did
the
Jin-
spacesuit was
did Hanma
responsible for
survive
Jack's
that?
surviving re-entry, it certainly can't be held solely accountable for the final impact. Starting his descent from the Kármán line, or the boundary between Earth's atmosphere and space, Jack covered a distance of 62 miles in just under 7 seconds, moving well over terminal velocity,
Thanks to being propelled by exploding space beef.
which means his top velocity was approximately 37,000 miles per hour. Adding the
Good
spacesuit's
Lord,
weight
Jack.
to his own, this means his impact force must have equaled about 19 megatons of force.
Jeez.
Way more than anything Afro survived.
And then he just got up and walked away.
Like a
Badass.
G.
In the end, Jack was just too fast, too strong, too tough, and too well trained for Afro to handle.
The winner is Samurai Jack.
Congratulations, Jack. You won.
It's always nice to have a best friend attached to your hip, like me and my shotgun leg.
But these two take their
Where did you get
friends
that
even
thing?
further than that.
Venom, the lethal symbiote and Spider-Man's best frenemy.
And Crona, the deadly demon sword from Soul Eater.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze
I
their
gotta
weapons,
feel
armor, and
that
skills to
Crona's
find out
gonna win
who
this
would
fight.
win a death battle. At the
Who this
beginning
up?
of time, in the faraway reaches of space, the Clintar rose from a living darkness.
Okay, Venom.
One of these amorphous symbiotes was Venom.
Who was a freaking loser? Hey, don't look at me, all the goop aliens were saying it. So they kicked the poor slime ball straight off the planet.
In its exile, the symbiote underwent a number of misadventures which firmly shaped its personality. It bonded to a heroic Kree soldier rescuing refugees, a violent monster who committed genocide, and apparently Deadpool.
Deadpool.
Damn, no wonder Venom's so messed up in the head.
Eventually, the symbiote was discovered by Peter Parker,
Can't even
a friendly
find it.
neighborhood Spider-Man.
It gave him a pretty slick black suit and awesome new powers. But after finding out it was a confused, raging psychopathic alien, Pete decided to exercise it with the power of Christian Rock.
A wise decision, although ill-timed,
It's
as
not
this
Christian
event
Rock,
would
it's
cause the
freaking
symbiote to
Soundy.
finally meet its greatest partner, Edward Brock.
Eddie was a journalist with the unluckiest backstory ever. While trying to uncover the identity of a serial killer, he blamed the wrong guy. The same day he published his article, Spidey caught the real killer, who lived right next door to the dude Eddie blamed.
Long story short, Eddie was fired from his job, divorced by his wife, and disowned by his father.
Who already blamed Eddie for his wife dying in childbirth.
On top of all of that,
Ow.
Eddie learned he developed adrenal cancer, with only a few months left to live.
Man, and I thought 2020 was rough. I almost don't blame him for becoming a supervillain.
With all hope lost, he begged God to take it all away, and got an answer. The symbiote.
Just like Captain Planet, with their powers combined, these two losers became a super loser. Well, no, they
Super
actually
loser.
became a horrifying monster with all of Spider-Man's powers and then some.
Yeah.
Their mutual hatred of Spider-Man caused the symbiote to bond to Eddie like no host ever before. They were perfect, a terror in the night, an unstoppable demon. They were Venom.
It even cured Eddie's cancer.
Sort of. It's
Really?
complicated.
Apart from Spider-Man's
Or
webbing
it's
and
more like
web
it
crawling
stopped, like, the
powers,
cancer.
Venom can use shape-shifting to mold his body into cool doodads. Swords, shields, tendrils, worm monster things, even wings. Yeah, imagine seeing this guy flying outside your window at night.
All I
Good luck
know is
sleeping
that
ever
Carnage can
again.
fly.
Venom can
But
camouflage
Venom-
his entire body, heal severe wounds like impalement and lost limbs, see all around him at once, and psychically project emotions onto others.
Normally, this just
Really?
makes people feel sorry for themselves, like Wiz on Tinder. But one time he convinced a bunch of other symbiotes that life was meaningless and they killed themselves. Shit, that's dark.
If desperate, the
Oh,
symbiote
shit.
can even invade the bodies of others and make them burst from inside out.
Gross and awesome. But if he doesn't want to pop them like a fun balloon, he can just take over their body like a creepy puppet master.
While attached to a victim,
Ugh.
Venom can control them by fusing the symbiote to their nervous system, specifically the brainstem and frontal lobes. Fighting off this
Yeah.
mind control is extremely difficult unless you have powers that can directly counter it, such as another symbiote.
Oh god! Aliens, tentacles, and mind control? Are we sure this episode is rated E for everyone, or do we need to start blurring stuff?
Don't worry, aside from being a horrible mass murderer, Venom's stories are completely wholesome.
Right.
Like how?
Venom proved a dangerous thorn in Spider-Man's side and frequently ruined his life, even taking a page out of my favorite book, The Most Dangerous Game, and hunting him on a private island.
Yeah, he was the coolest rival ever, but over the years, things kind of calmed down a bit. They even teamed up every
Wait,
so
Venom
often.
literally defeated
Even with
Carnage
so
and
much
Juggernaut?
anger, Eddie had a legitimate desire to protect others. As a teenager stealing his dad's car, he accidentally ran over and killed a child. Despite his desire to confess, his father forced him to plead innocent and rigged the jury. The guilt has weighed him down ever since. So while Venom does have a hunger for human brains, he'd rather eat the face off a criminal than an innocent person.
Venom's as tough as they come. He's survived Ghost Rider's penance stare. He's strong enough to toss a tank hundreds of feet up, and fast enough to take down Spidey 2099, who once caught Mjolnir while it was moving 2,000 times the speed of sound.
Although Venom does not possess the spider sense that allows Parker to react in microseconds, he can still keep up with all the usual Spidey gallery. Plus, while symbiotes have a severe weakness to high-pitched sound and heat, he's developed resistances to them.
Like when he took this giant explosion, or when he survived a sonic scream from some mutant gremlins that shattered all glass within 10 miles.
While he may be tougher to take down than most other symbiotes, Venom never fully overcame his weaknesses. However, his symbiotic genes provide far more help than harm. This includes traits and memories from other hosts, like Scorpion and Flash Thompson.
Wait. Bullets are a genetic trait? How do I pass that down?
Venom would certainly need a lot of firepower to survive an encounter with the symbiote god.
Oh, geez, here we go.
At first, the Clintar symbiotes were seen as a peaceful people. But turns out they were actually living weapons forged by the primordial deity Null in an attempt to conquer the universe.
And I bet next up, Marvel decides they're magic maple syrup people from Asgardian IHOP. But okay, cosmic sludge made by alien Satan. Let's go with that.
Despite it all, Eddie and the symbiote have proven they're far more than the dark legacy the Clintar were intended for. They've even gained the respect of the Avengers and eventually considered Spider-Man a friend. Sort of. It's complicated.
Eddie really is the best pal Venom could have found. And let's be real, he just looks freaking badass.
See us everywhere, even in your nightmares.
Yeah.
In ancient times, a demonic being known as the Kishin ravaged humanity, nearly driving all mankind into the depths of madness. This monster could only be defeated and sealed away by the God of Death.
So, why is the literal God of Death so goofy looking? You ever seen Death Note? Hell, even Thanos' girlfriend is scarier than this clown.
If you are unfamiliar with the world of Soul Eater, prepare yourself. It's different.
Well, not one in a return of the apocalypse, Death and his oven mitts founded a school, Death Academy.
Here, warriors called Meisters would train to fight evil using the power of their souls.
They even got neat demon weapons that doubled as people. Together, they learned courage, chivalry, unbreakable friendship. You know, all that anime crap.
Crona Gorgon was not one of these students.
Buckle up, it's all Gloomsville from here.
Crona's like
Deal with it.
I don't think I know how to deal with this situation.
Throughout their childhood, Crona was abused by their mother, Medusa, a witch obsessed with the legendary Kishin.
You can see where this is going. Anime Uma Thurman
Crona's-
is such a fangirl she figured,
Crona's gender
hey,
is
why don't I
unknown
make
in the
my own
manga?
Kishin? So she used her child as a guinea pig in a bunch of crazy experiments. You know, it kind of sounds like something you do, Wiz.
Don't be silly, I only use actual guinea pigs. Part of Medusa's
Okay,
great
Crona is
experiment
15.
included bonding Crona to a weapon, much like the Meisters of Death Academy. However, joining with Ragnarok was a bit more literal.
Ragnarok used to be your run-of-the-mill transforming weapon person until Medusa melted him alive in black blood.
Black blood being another experiment of hers. Crona's own blood is, in fact, this same black blood, which they can remotely control. It can be used to heal wounds and even harden as a sort of internal armor.
Cooking rags in black blood turned him
Yeah,
into a
pretty
brand
hard.
new weapon that was literally poured into Crona's bloodstream.
From that point on, Crona and Ragnarok were two halves of the same person. The meek and tortured child firmly attached to their loud and brazen weapon.
And Raggy has that black blood control too. They can yank poor Crona around like a puppet. They can use black blood to create wings, thorny vines, all kinds of weapons, and big ass needles. Ugh, I hate needles.
Yeah.
What's up with that mouth when he transforms into a sword? That thing's
Oh,
messed
that
up.
thing.
Like the Meisters, Crona can wield their own soul in combat, amplified by Ragnarok as a technique called Scream Resonance. Think of it like hooking an
Yeah.
electric guitar up to an amp, though more akin to a screeching banshee on LSD.
I didn't know you play.
I don't. It's incredibly powerful, causing internal
Oh my
damage
God,
to
his
foes
ear is
and
bleeding.
making Ragnarok vibrate to increase his cutting power.
That would be a big
Hey, are you
problem for
okay?
Venom.
What?
With this weapon at their
Is he
side,
okay? Dear
Crona
God.
set out on a quest to become a Kishi, which required quite a lot of homicide.
I want to say
Yeah,
that.
Ragnarok can absorb the souls of dead people, and supposedly enough souls will turn Crona into the Kishin. So they went around slaughtering hundreds of people.
Despite their name, Death Academy wasn't exactly a fan, particularly their star student, Maka Alburn.
Don't worry, she and Crona ended up becoming good friends. Until they weren't. Sort of. It's complicated.
As a pawn in Medusa's mission, Crona gained several levels of new potential, notably after gaining or absorbing the powers of the monstrous Black Clown, the demon tool Brew, and even Ashura, the original Kishin.
All of which increased
Really?
Crona's abilities, especially the black blood. Now Crona could turn their entire body into goop, and the slightest touch could inflict madness.
I ain't read the manga
That's
yet.
madness with a capital M, by the way.
This madness is a corruptive effect that causes targeted variants of delusion or obsession, often spread as a wavelength. The wavelength of Crona's mad blood specifically causes violent psychosis.
Crona may be a pawn, but they're a badass. They can cut through a whole ghost ship, cover the moon with sound waves, open the moon's mouth? What the hell is wrong with that moon?
Crona and Ragnarok have held their own against multiple Death Academy students, including Maka, Death the Kid, and Black Star.
Sometimes all at
Really?
once.
Yeah,
Kid
Black
once
Star?
flew from Nevada to Egypt in less than a minute, and Black Star is even faster. He's dodged lasers and been tracked moving over 20 kilometers in 6 microseconds while approaching Baba
Really?
Yaga Castle.
And Crona's been able to make enough mad blood to crush a whole goddamn Ukrainian city.
While this city isn't named, we can use a similar metropolitan area in Ukraine. Kiev, for instance. With this in mind, Crona must have created over 9 trillion tons of black blood, enough to fill over 6 billion Olympic swimming pools.
But Crona's a big leap from invincible. They've had their shit kicked in plenty
Yeah.
of times, and their hardened black blood can only block so much.
Even then, Medusa's plan
Yeah,
ultimately succeeded. After
Maka-
years of scheming,
I mean,
Crona absorbed
Crona
the power
has,
of
like, a
Ashura
weak-
and
a few
became
weaknesses.
a Kishin.
Well, more like Kishin absorbed Crona, but close enough.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
with the power
even
of
Crona
friendship,
defeated
Crona
Medusa.
ironically wound up defeating the Kishin once and for all. Despite their life being nothing
Ow.
but destruction, Crona was the one who ultimately saved the world.
With an added side effect of a new madness wavelength
okay.
that made everyone obsessed with boobs. Truly a positive effect on people everywhere.
Just
Oh
give
my
up.
God.
I'm tired of trying to figure out how to deal with you.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
But first, instead of chewing on brains and souls, how about chewing on blue?
This
A death battle!
Oh,
Hello? I want
that's
to
an interesting voice.
Hey, pay attention, you turd.
Hey, Ragnarok. Been a long time since I see you guys.
Lucky day! 2 brains for the price of 1!
Oh God. My God, just crap in the face.
right now?
I didn't say. You fry your web. I'm gonna say Crona's gonna win this fight
Ours, dinner time!
because there's one. Yeah, I got a good feeling that will work. Oh, oh, you blow. Venom, you're getting bodied. Oh, that won't work. Ooh, what a.
He's gone? What is he?
We fangs hiding under your bed, teeth ground sharp, and eyes glowing red.
Red. He's up there. Oh my god, he uses it. Oh, that's a weapon. Oh my god, oh my god, Crona. Oh my god.
Your blood
I know.
Is black.
It's black.
I'll let him go take that one.
Wake up,
This
stupid!
is a creepy fight. Wake up, stupid! Oh! Oh. The triple sword. Interesting. Still getting body venom.
We are the darkness. We are your nightmare. We are Venom.
I hate you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I figured. Venom. I mean, Crona won. Crona, I like you, but
Man,
get
these
that.
symbiotes really need to stop picking fights with pink-haired anime characters.
Crazy.
Venom was certainly a tricky opponent. His shape-shifting camouflage and multitude of weapons kept Crona on guard. Unfortunately, Venom lacked the power needed to keep up a prolonged fight.
Yeah, Crona matching Black Star's speed makes for a pretty clear difference. Crona could reach Mach 9000, while Venom only topped out around Mach 2000.
And while Venom has shown incredible physical strength
So,
to put
not only
Spider-Man to
Crona
shame,
had the sound-
he could never compete with 9
a sound
trillion
attack, but
tons of
also
mad
faster.
blood.
Which, by the way, that
Faster.
precise
Yeah.
control of the black blood totally meant Crona could push out any of Venom's attempt at being a puppeteer.
And Crona's shown even
Ow.
greater feats of strength as well. Assuming all of the moon's teeth are similar in size and stone, opening this jaw is equivalent to lifting over 10,000 tons.
Of course, the final
Yeah.
nail in Eddie's coffin was the fact that half of Crona's arsenal was sound-based, basically Venom's kryptonite.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
I got that
Recall
feeling that
Venom did
that's
gain a notable resistance to sound attacks, so
True,
we needed to
but-
determine if Crona's sonic waves were great enough to effectively harm him.
You know those gremlins who shattered every window in 10 miles with a screech attack? The symbiote
Mm-hmm.
barely survived it, so that's a good high end to look at.
It takes at least 100 decibels to shatter glass normally. To cover that much distance, the combined sonic blast must have equaled about 244 decibels. In contrast, in
Damn.
order to engulf the moon, Crona's sonic waves must have reached over 275 decibels.
And
So
yes,
that's pretty damn
considering
effective.
the weird size and shape of the moon. Ugh, just look at that freaky thing.
Sure, 275 doesn't seem that much more than 244, but decibels increase on a logarithmic rate. This means Crona's sound attack was actually over 1,000 times stronger.
Vanny for sure wasn't surviving that.
Eddie and the symbiote held their own with versatility, but Crona and Ragnarok had them beat in destructive power, blistering speed, and an arsenal that could take advantage of Venom's key weakness.
Looks like Venom just got Ragnaroked.
The winner is Crona.
Crona.